Alright, you battlers, you know what it is. JayDevin back at it with another Go Battle League video. So today's video will be a little bit different. I used to do this a lot in the past and I stopped. I don't know why. For today's video, we're going to be highlighting just one Pokemon in particular. The Pokemon that we will be highlighting in today's video is going to be Arcanine. I do like him a lot. He's a little bit on the squishy side, so that's why he's not necessarily a top pick. He's more of a flex pick and kind of a surprise factor in most situations. But if you do not know, Arcanine is just a pure fire type Pokemon. It has a better stat product in the Ultra League, obviously, than compared to the Great League, so I think it has more play. But also, since Snarl got boosted and it gains energy, like there's no tomorrow now. And what was Legacy before, the charge move Flamethrower, is no longer Legacy. Arcanine is definitely going to have more play in the Ultra League. I just haven't built one yet, but a couple of simple things to consider about Arcanine real quick. Being a pure fire type, he will be taking super effective damage from ground, from rock, and from water. But I think where he really can shine, his resistances. So he's going to be resisting steel, grass, bug, fairy, ice, and fire types. The moveset that I would recommend for an Ultra League Arcanine is going to be Snarl, Flamethrower, and then Crunch. And the reason I say that is because Arcanine is so squishy, if you find yourself in a bad spot, he's going to have quicker access to his charge moves. So again, he is just kind of a flex pick, a pick a lot of people might not see coming. So he might actually even be a little more affordable if you're able to purify one. It'll be cheaper to power up, and of course cheaper to add a second move. So if you want to add a second move on a purified Arcanine, it would be 40,000. Another thing to consider about Arcanine in the Ultra League is he does have a pretty decent move pool available to him, which is a good thing but also a bad thing at the same time, right? He currently has access to 3 different fast moves. He does have access to 4 different charge moves in his move pool. He might have to use a TM or 2, hopefully not more than that. That's what gives him the surprise factor against a Registeel or against a Venusaur or even potentially against a Giratina, etc., against a Togekiss. That speed with the Snarl energy generation is, in my opinion, that's what gives him the surprise factor that he really needs to be used in the Ultra League. But let's look at just a few battles here that where I used Arcanine. I went back to my Blastoise lead. I do love leading with Blastoise a lot. I like Blastoise in general, but you see now they've come out with the Venusaur. During these battles, again, since I'm kind of restricted by the amount of Stardust that I have, I can't really use and feature Arcanine how he should be featured, but that would have been ideal if I had swapped in aggressively with Arcanine to answer the Venusaur. But during these battles, all I had was Snarl and Wild Charge on the Arcanine, which he is purified, so it'll be a little less expensive for me to add the second move when I can, but I'll just wait till after Community Day coming up this weekend because I will have plenty of Stardust after that. Now, again, like I've said before, I think I've said this in several videos, the Giratina versus the Venusaur matchup, it's obviously favorable for Giratina, but Venusaur, even with the resisted Frenzy Plants, that is going to hit so hard, so fast that for the most part, I still find myself wanting to invest at least one shield. Now, unfortunately, I think we took the L in this one. They have the Clefable that they can answer with. And I think part of the reason is I chose to actually use the Frenzy Plant on the Venusaur. Even though I have this comp and the team put together, without that second move and the TMs used on Arcanine, it can't really function how I want it to. It can't really be used how I want it to, unfortunately. But I am at least able to land neutral damage against the Clefable. And I guess at least, you know, we can hit super effective into the Charizard if they don't shield, which obviously they should. The Wild Charge would do massive damage. But we can answer with the Blastoise at this point, so that's going to be a hard answer to the Charizard. And I think he just ended up opting for straight Dragon Claw. He should have probably gone for a Blast Burn, to be honest. I mean, he baits with the Dragon Claw, but again, I have the Blastoise. He should have just tried to put the damage out. And I probably could have come out on top, honestly, if I did not use a shield. If I'd saved that shield with my Blastoise, and I had not taken all that damage that I didn't need to take from the Clefable, then it could have been a different story. Did I actually end up still winning? Oh, I think I did, just narrowly. I take it back. I thought I lost this one, but we won. We came out on top. GG's Trainer. Next opponent here was Yoshi of a Down. Shout out to you, but they open up with the Articuno. Okay, we're very familiar with the strategy and with this matchup, especially when we open up with the Blastoise. It's going to be playable. Realistically, I would expect them to swap either now or a little bit later on in the matchup, right? I'm not going to swap it all no matter what, and realistically, I don't want to use shields. I believe after they land an Icy Wind, if I remember correctly, they end up throwing an Ancient Power, which I still don't shield because it's not going to do that much damage. The best thing that could happen is they get a boost from it, which they didn't. So again, not such a huge deal, even though it still hits for neutral rather than super effective. Unless I don't use any shields and they throw another Ancient Power, the matchup is still favoring me at this point. So I throw another Hydro Cannon. I can't remember if they shield it or not. I think they invest both shields. No, they don't. Okay, so they let the Articuno go down. The Articuno is gonzo. It's not in the picture anymore, and they come in with their Swampert. Now, because I know I have the Giratina still and the Arcanine that doesn't have the moves it's supposed to yet, but obviously I'll come in with the Giratina. This matchup's going to favor me. Realistically, I don't know if I should have fished for bait at this point against the Swampert. I probably should have just gone for the damage, but we did get the boost anyways. And I believe after I shield this Hydro Cannon, did they rage quit? They did. GG's trainer. Right, and up against the next opponent. So they open up with the Giratina. Again, I'm opening up with the Blastoise. Now they have the Shadow Claw variant, so they're going to be able to spam fairly quickly, and again, Giratina being part dragon typing will resist all the water damage, so it will resist the water gun and the Hydro Cannon, but I'm just going to go straight for the Ice Beam. From what I remember, they do shield, and it was a smart shield. I probably should have baited. It's pretty common knowledge that Blastoise can carry Ice Beam, so it might be worth going for the bait every once in a while, but since they open with the Giratina, I would rather just go straight for the Ice Beam and take a shield if we can, because now I can do this aggro swap into this Arcanine, and even though this Wild Charge is resisted by the Swampert, again, look how spammable this is, and they don't use any shields. Now, Arcanine's going to put this damage out super quick. They're being a little greedy. They're definitely over farming, and I have done so much damage to the Swampert at this point. I'm like, you know what? I want to at least see if I can get in one more Wild Charge before the Swampert takes me down. At this point, they're like, okay, Arcanine is no joke. I'm just going to throw these Hydro Cannons. This was a little cheeky. I didn't need to. I just wanted to invest another shield to see if they would shield another Wild Charge or not, which I believe they did, unfortunately for us. So at that point, I just swap back into the Blastoise to deal the neutral. They answer back again with their Giratina, which again is a Shadow Claw variant, so it'll be very energy efficient. And I was hoping I would be able to reach an Ice Beam before they Shadow Claw me down to build up more energy. Unfortunately, I just didn't think it was going to happen from what I saw. So not exactly ideal, because shields are down on both sides at this point, and they have a lot of energy that's built into their Giratina, so they can throw these Dragon Claws at me. And I was hoping that, you know, I would get that Dragon Claw and get them out of there before I take more damage, but unfortunately I did not. So we just took more damage. Now I will throw the Dragon Claw at this point, which is going to TKO, but they have Registeel in the back. So there's really nothing I can do. It would have been ideal at that point if I had, one, saved a shield, and if I actually had Flamethrower on this Arcanine, that would have been a perfect situation for me to use Arcanine in that fashion, right? That definitely would have given me the win. So they throw a Hydro Cannon at us, I believe. I don't think I stopped tapping, but I mean, it's over. There's really nothing I can do at this point. GG's trainer. So that was it as far as the battles. There were only 3. I forgot to record the first part of that set, unfortunately. And again, I do recommend running Snarl, Flamethrower, and Crunch on an Arcanine if you're going to be using it in the Ultra League. I do like the coverage it provides. Again, though, it is a very squishy pick, so be careful with your matchups. I don't necessarily think I would recommend opening with the Arcanine. If you want to use him this way with Snarl as a surprise factor, I would probably put him in a flex position. One comp that comes to mind that could work pretty well is if you open up with an Ice Fang for Alligator, you have the Arcanine, and then probably like a Venusaur in the back, or a Giratina in the back, or something along those lines to give you more coverage just in case. Because, you know, again, since Arcanine is so squishy, you can't necessarily count on him and him alone to take out a Registeel. It's not going to be the most reliable meta pick, but it definitely is one of those picks that would be a surprise factor that I just know it would give me victory, but I don't have the dust right now. But that was it for the video. Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are on Arcanine in the Ultra League. I really would like to hear what you have to say, and if you've used it, if you've tried it. If you haven't tried it and you want to, you know, go ahead and use it in a set or use it in some practice, and then let me know what you think about Arcanine in the Ultra League. So So subscribe if you feel my vibe, and power up punch the notification bell for all the PvP content. That's it for this video. We'll see you in the next video. Battlers, have a good stinking day.